Hello and welcome back. With Christmas rapidly approaching, we thought we'd take a look at what's on in fandom over the festive period. Well, there's pro-celebrity vid-firing at Piddle Trentide, formation manual deblobbing in Wookie Hole, not to mention a display of reverse standards conversion just outside Wimborne Minster. And our old friends the over-80s Nudist Blake 7 restoration team will be showing you a dozen easy ways to spruce up animals, and we wish them the best of luck.
Ho, 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 young Master Trowbridge, make the Yuletide announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, with tinsel in their windows and holly in their drawers, it's episode 4 of Round the Archives.
Entertainment for all the family. Christmas Eve on BBC One.
Hello and welcome to issue 4?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know. Of Round the Archives, which is the Christmas special. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Lisa.
And I'm going to be coughing a lot.
Because he's had a cold.
Yes, so Lisa might be speaking more than
So think
me.
of blob.
Blob Fleming. There's a lot of Blob Fleming going on.
Bob.
Oh, thanks for that. Right, leftovers from last issue. You wanted to plug milk a bit more.
Yes. I realised that we'd mentioned the Wurzel book last time, but we didn't actually say where you could buy it from.
Oh.
And where you can buy it from is Milk Publishing, which is www.milkpublishing.com. And I have lots of lovely books available, most of which we own. Including the recently released All Memories Great and Small, which is unsurprisingly about all creatures great and small, and the re-released Life of J&T, which is now called Totally Tasteless.
Oh yes, that's
and
very
is
good.
very colourful. So that's Milk Publishing, and they do wonderful books. They've got lots of books about lots of different things, though quite a lot of them are Doctor Who based.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also from last issue, the supposed recovery of Jeeves and Worcester
was just another copy of a Jeeves and Worcester.
Yes, so
they
World of Worcester, wasn't
World
it?
of Worcester,
yeah.
yes, they sort of already had it.
Yeah.
And they went, oh, no, actually we've got this one.
Never mind. Anyway,
Yeah.
But this week and last few weeks, we've been mostly watching Christmas Night with the Stars,
Yes,
haven't
and
we?
the ITV version, which is All-Star Comedy.
Is it? I forgot what it's
Carnival.
called.
Yeah, All-Star Comedy Carnival. I want to say All-Star Comedy Classic, but it's not really a classic.
Yeah, it's not a name that's terribly memorable, to be honest.
No. So, and they're both on. Well, obviously, Christmas Night with the Stars, which is the BBC version, went on for longer. It went on for something like 12.
We've seen the
1958,
1958,
yeah,
1964, and 1972 ones.
Yes.
So let's go through who was on the 58 one first.
58. You have.
If you hold that again.
Okay,
Lisa.
Billy Cotton.
Yeah.
And his band.
Mm-hmm.
And he was directed by Bill Cotton Jr., not Billy Cotton Jr., who later went on to be Director General of BBC One.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you also had David Nixon.
Oh, he was introducing it.
Yeah.
Oops.
Who, for anybody that doesn't know, was a magician.
Yes. He did a very good trick with a fairy on the Christmas tree.
He did. That was amazing for 1958 because it's long before the days of colour separation overlay.
Yeah, they're doing it with inlay, so he picks her off the tree, and she's dancing.
And she's dancing on his hand.
We've got Charlie Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie Chester.
Yeah. Never seen any Charlie Chester before. Not in a hurry to see any more, but
Dixon of Dock Green.
that was good. Yeah.
Is just
Very, very much
in
written
sort
by
of George's sort of house.
Yes.
Everybody sat around the table, and he does a tribute to them.
He does. Yes, and it was you could tell it was written by Ted Willis.
Jimmy Edwards.
Wacko. That's something I have no intention of seeing any more of.
Okay. And Tony Hancock was the highlight, probably.
Yes, as a budgie.
As a budgie.
Yeah.
Looking fed up.
Yes.
But that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Zooming on to the 64 one, Jack Warner now hosts.
Hosting, yeah, doing an okay job.
So you got the Barron Knights.
Yes.
Billy Cotton again.
Yes.
Dick Emery.
Yep.
Benny Hill.
Yep.
They were interesting.
Yeah,
they
I
were
wouldn't
sort of
say
talking heads.
Benny Hill was all out laughs.
It wasn't that Christmassy, to be honest.
No.
It was. No. What was it about? Some sort of
sort
delinquent.
Teenage, I say teenage in highlights because he's obviously not a teenager.
Yeah.
But he was meant to be a teenage delinquent.
Marriage Lines.
Yeah. Cornelia Scales and Richard Brass.
Hugh and I.
Yeah, that would probably work better had we known anything about all the vast cast of characters in it.
They were doing some sort of silly clapping hands game.
Clapping hands, word game, yeah.
Andy Stewart singing about whiskey, which I could do with it right now, as a matter of fact. And the Likely Lads, that was the best bit,
that was the best bit for that one, yes. Probably mostly because that's the thing we're most familiar with.
Yeah. It's where they're going to go out drinking and they end up having arguments over Rupert Bear annuals.
It is, yes.
Who was in which story?
Yeah. Is it Edward Trunk or?
Yeah, as a TV fan thing, that was quite a familiar thing about sort of trivia.
Yeah.
Trivia questions. Right, what else have we got? 72. Introduced by the two Ronnies.
Yes, with some truly appalling jokes.
Yeah, Mike Yarwood.
Yeah, doing impressions of two of which I know who they were, which is Harold Wilson and and Edward Heath.
Lulu was on there.
Lulu was on there.
Yeah. The Goodies.
Cilla Black.
Oh, yes. And Dad's Army.
Dad's Army, yeah.
That's one of 4 Dad's Armies that they did for Christmas night.
We've listened to the other ones.
Yeah, there's 2 that are missing,
for
which there are soundtracks, and 2 that survive. So we had Broadcast to the Empire, which was on the 72 one.
Yes.
Which was supposedly set on Christmas Day. We presume it's 1941 because they're part of a thing sort of to absent friends.
They did a radio show where they went to soldiers all around the world that could talk to their families at home. And it was a chance for the families to hear their loved
there's
ones.
A reference to, what was it, Old Mother Riley's Christmas party, which was actually broadcast in the evening. So, that was quite a nice little bit of sort of reality there.
Yeah. And Old Mother Riley, for those of you who are not familiar with the character, is like a sort of 40s version of Mrs. Brown.
Okay, fair enough.
Down to the fact that he was also married to his supposed daughter.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did listen to the other Dad's Armies, one of which is basically just singing the floral dance, isn't it?
Yes.
And it does feel like it's a bit of a...
Yeah, it feels like it could be...
It could be a Are You Being Served thing, because
Yeah.
later Are You Being Served ones are sort of based around sort of singing and sort of
and
song and dance
piddling
stuff.
about.
Yeah. But it's noticeable going through these that the 50s Christmas Night with the Stars are very much variety.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
based.
suddenly the 60s
because you said it felt like it
sitcom.
was more like 1948, didn't it?
Because
you had Vera Lynn.
You had Vera Lynn on here, who was only in her 30s at that point, probably. But it's, it just really felt, I mean, probably because it's in black and white. It felt very variety led, a little old fashioned, and it felt like it was 1948 rather than 1958.
But the 60s one is sort of more recognisable, isn't it? In that you start to get more sketch stuff like the Likely Lads. And by 72,
if there's more.
Yeah, because I have to say, of all of the stuff we've seen, I think the Dad's Army stuff is the best written.
Yeah,
and it's the 2 that survive that are the best ones, I think. Although I did like the line in the missing one from 68, because the 68 one would have been the first Christmas that I saw.
Yes.
The 72 one would have been the first Christmas that you would have seen. Yeah. And there's a line, isn't it? There's a telegraph pole in the hall, and 6 dead Father Christmases underneath it.
For the verger.
Yeah, because everybody's come dressed as Santa Claus for various reasons, and they're doing PT with a telegraph pole, and they trapped underneath it. It's a bit hard to tell on audio. But,
it's hard to, and obviously there's no.
But these are available on a disc of
Lost.
CD of Lost Dad's Army stuff, which does include Stripes for Fraser.
Yes.
And that rather weird 90s thing.
Yes. With robots, which I'm not sure.
Robot.
I'm not sure people would have known what robots were in the 40s.
Robot Winston Churchill.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a thing done in the 90s.
Yeah, to commemorate this closing of the studio where a lot of radio had been filmed.
Basically, the
surviving
only people
cast
that are
members.
left, which are Pike, the Vicar and Hodges.
Yeah, and Julie Perry.
And as you said, by that point, Ian Lavender can't quite do the voice.
No, he's a little too fey, I think.
But yes, I mean, all these sort of Christmas Night with the Stars, these three that we've seen are available if you know where to look.
Yeah.
But they're quite fun.
Yeah. They are.
You know, it was a sort of tradition.
And we
on
should
the BBC, but let's briefly
ones.
talk about the ITV ones.
Yeah. So there's only two that exist, and a sketch from, I think it's the 1968 one, which is the Dustbin Men.
Oh yes.
Which Father Christmas may be bringing us for Christmas.
Oh really?
Courtesy of our lovely chum Paul Chandler. And it's 1972 and 1973.
Yes. So they're both introduced by
Jimmy Tarbuck.
Jimmy Tarbuck.
Yeah.
Dimmy Tarbuck.
Tarbuck.
I cannot speak.
No,
I'm sorry.
speak.
It was the best thing on it.
Emu.
Emu.
In 1972.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Why is Emu so good on that?
Because, I mean, in the 1973 one, they have a ventriloquist with a doll, a grandpa doll, an older man doll.
You don't like
and I don't like ventriloquists anyway.
Doll.
I find the dolls deeply creepy. But Emu, it works better because he shows emotion.
You know when he's cross,
you know, when he's
cross, scared or
when
surprised.
he's scared, when he's shy, when he's incredulous. You know everything. It's amazing that you can do so much.
Here's the full list of what's on these things.
Yeah. So, and I have to say, the other good thing on the 1972 one, and I am slightly embarrassed to say this, is Love Thy Neighbour.
Yeah, we were worried about watching the Love Thy Neighbour thing, but
if you can get over
compared to some of the racism aside, and I know that's a huge hurdle.
Yeah.
It's actually better written than a lot of some of the other stuff.
And I have to say, as we're talking about racism, and I'm not going to go quite into what he says, but on the 1972 BBC Christmas Night with the Stars, there's a joke told by Ronnie Corbett, and it's about Enoch Powell, so unsurprisingly it's quite racist, but it's really casually done.
Yeah.
So it's the sort of time of when these things were being
But
made.
you've got Love Thy Neighbour on the buses.
That's rubbish.
On the buses, that's a very odd one.
Just weird.
Nearest and Dearest, that's not great.
No, anything with Jimmy Jewell in is basically rubbish, I'm sorry.
Because the other thing is Spring and Autumn.
Yeah, that's
I'd
from
never heard of that.
1973.
Billy Liar was weird.
Yes.
You see Colin Jeavons in a tutu.
Yes.
Yeah, don't often see that.
No.
Father Dear Father.
That was all right, yeah.
Man About the House, not
Yeah,
bad.
not bad.
Doctor in Charge.
Yeah, that was okay.
Fen Street Gang.
That's just, I don't get the point of the Fen Street Gang. They've left school, leave them alone.
Yeah. So, I mean, these run for about an hour or so, don't they?
An hour and a bit.
Frankly, it felt longer.
It did feel longer.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think. Yeah, Emu I could have seen more of.
Yes, I could have.
You get this weird thing. It's a bit like Alan Partridge in that you get sportsmen coming in as well to talk to him on the sofa.
What the Alan Partridge Christmas
I think
thing
it does.
is based
I think
on.
it does influence knowing me, knowing Yule.
Yeah.
Which we should watch it again at some point.
I mean, the thing about it as well, and I have no problem with Jimmy Tarbuck, but he sort of has to showcase his jokes by saying "boom boom" at the
end.
Boom.
Yeah,
and I'm like, if your jokes were good, you would
says
not
that about 8 times, doesn't
he?
It
does. And it's like, stop saying "boom boom."
Oh, and you do get the choirs as well. The school choirs.
School choirs, yeah. The 1973. It's the same choir both years, and same members. But the 1973, their hair is extraordinarily. You just think of like mud. And groups like that, it's all down to their shoulders.
I thought you meant they were dirty.
No. Just their hairstyle.
Oh, right, big 70s hair.
Big 70s hair.
Right.
Yeah. And you get Moira Anderson on the... is it Moira Anderson? I get her confused with the other... Moira Lister or whatever it is.
I have no idea, to be honest.
It's one or the other. Scottish one, anyway.
Scottish one.
Yeah.
Scottish Moira.
So, and Linda Bellingham's on the 1973 one, and Kenny Lynch.
Yes.
And I have to say, there's a bit of casual racism going on with Kenny Lynch.
But
it's Jimmy Tarbuck to Kenny Lynch, and they're mates, so perhaps
Leslie Crowther as well.
Oh, Leslie Crowther, yeah, because there's a whole sketch.
My dad's played football against Leslie Crowther. I've got some black and white photos of him, and he's got a silly hat on. Yeah.
They do this thing in the 1972 one with. I can't remember what it's called now. Something with Terry Wogan.
Christmas with Wogan.
And they do a whole thing where they pull some people out of the audience, but it's Peggy Mountain and Hugh Lloyd and Leslie Krauser and Sylvia Sims because they were in.
And then you've got Amy Turtle
And
coming
Amy
on
Turtle one's on. It's central, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they just
very weird.
And Noel Gordon. They just wheel all these people on, and Linda Bellingham and Judy Buxton from General Hospital. It's just. I wouldn't Larry Grayson.
Oh yes, Larry Grayson.
For some,
what was he dressed as? I thought he looked like the Hooded Claw.
I think he was meant to be like sort of Zorro. He had a mask and a hat on.
Yeah.
I don't think he was meant to be the Hooded Claw.
Well, he wouldn't have been,
No.
would he? I don't know.
I don't know when it was made.
You know who the Hooded Claw threatened, don't you?
I do. Don't start with Penelope Pitstop.
Penelope Pitstop.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Yes, I think we should stop now
I think we
and
probably
go on to
should.
the Christmas chat. We've got Warren on the sofa now that we recorded about a month ago.
Yes.
So we better use that.
Yes.
See you soon.
Bye.
In a contemplative fashion, by the flickering embers dream, free from every kind of passion, let us sip our envy cream. What a tranquil situation, rich and mellow, oh what glass, quiet, calm gratification. Then we'll have another glass.
Amber cream cypress sherry. By appointment to the upper bracket.
We have a threesome on the sofa today, don't we?
A threesome.
There.
Lisa, me, and young Uncle Warren.
Hello, darlings.
We're going to talk about Christmas TV.
Which is ironic because it's November.
Yes.
It's November the 12th.
Yes. And we've just watched the first episode of the Box of Delights.
Yes.
Marvellous. Excellent.
Yes.
I've never seen Box of Delights
So
before.
now Warren
Yeah.
has to go home and order Box of
Yeah.
Delights.
But-
Express delivery, that one,
Express
definitely.
delivery.
But we're going to talk about that elsewhere on this
Yes.
podcast.
But I was just setting up the scene.
You see?
I look forward to it. Shall
That's
I get
good.
the fake foam? Shall I get the fake snow out?
Yes,
Get
if
the
you like.
foam machine
The
out, dear
foamy
boy.
machine. Oh,
Yeah,
where's
Jamie spoke foam. But no, Christmas telly, come on,
Not
come
the
on.
not the rubber turkey again.
Christmas telly.
Yes.
Starts with the Radio Times.
Oh,
Yes.
any
Yes.
time we get
Which
the
gets
Radio Times.
increasingly earlier every year.
Yes.
Now, you sell the Radio Times,
Well,
don't you?
not personally. My establishment I work for does.
You
yes.
radio-
And they have to get, 4 issues into 3 weeks? Is
Yes,
that right?
yes. It starts at the beginning to the early bit of December, and it comes out on the Saturday. Then the next episode comes up. Next
Next
episode.
Next episode of the Radio
The
Times.
new Radio Times.
Next episode, Escape the
issue
Danger.
of Radio Times
What did
comes
you
out
say?
on the Tuesday.
What did you say?
Episode.
No, issue.
Issue.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Yes, the next issue of Radio... This
Bless
will
you.
take ages if you're going to keep
Gesundheit.
interrupting. Yes, the next issue comes out on the Tuesday. The next issue comes out on the Saturday. By this time, all the old people are confused and try and buy the wrong issue.
That's just an excuse for you, isn't
You
it?
have to
Yes.
say to them, you know that's the week after next, don't you? Is
okay.
it, dear? It's on the shelf, dear.
But I remember the days of the Radio Times when the Radio Times was just BBC and the TV Times was ITV.
You
Goodness,
you
yes.
didn't buy the TV. We did buy the
No,
TV.
we did.
Yes, no.
But
There
it
was no
was
such
Christmas was
Yeah.
the only time we buy the radio and TV Times.
No, that's exactly the same in my house.
And-
You had to hold it up so all the giveaway leaflets
All the rubbish
fell out.
fell out.
And
Fell
there was
out.
a few pages left inside there, wasn't there? Nothing changes.
But
Your
did
hostess and
you
holiday.
did you sit and circle things?
Yes, mark them up because
Oh.
I had a little black and white portable so I could run up and watch in my room. But most of the time, I was the only one that watched Christmas telly because
Oh.
both of the parents worked.
Ah,
So yeah, I was there going, this is not going to clash with this. It was the days before video recorders.
okay. But I also remember this. What are you laughing at? Eh? Okay, well, whatever. I don't care.
Well, thanks very much. I'm off now.
You're not the star of this.
Merry Christmas.
But I remember.
Thank you, Harley.
I remember it was one of the few times I would
in Belgium, you
I would
know.
actually look at radio stuff as well.
All right.
That certainly in the late 80s, early 90s, they were Christmas. They dig out episodes of the Goon Show, and I do remember The Hobbit was the radio production of The Hobbit was on.
Yeah.
Is that the one with Bill Nighy as Samwise Gamgee? Doing an absolutely awful
Samwise
local
Gamgee isn't
accent.
in The Hobbit.
are?
Oh, The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
Oh, sorry, not
No,
the Lord of the
no,
Rings. I
no,
beg your pardon.
No. This is in, I think, 4
It's a
episodes.
prequel, that was.
Yes, yeah.
Prequel, yes.
But-
But it might have been him. I've been really, really,
But yeah,
really cool.
I'd actually look up sort of comedy stuff and things like that on the radio. But for me, Christmas telly is your comedy and light entertainment, really.
It was your staple provider, wasn't it? It was, you knew that you were going to have your Morecambe and Wise. You were going to have another variety show that would always
Mike
be...
Yarwood.
Mike Yarwood. Oh, my word.
In persons.
In person.
And this
person.
is
And
me.
this is me.
As if you never knew.
But I love the way you used to have to. He used to signpost he was doing.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm doing
So,
Frank
you-
Spencer
doing
or
Frank
whatever.
Spencer with the hat, or Harold Wilson with the pipe, or
Yes.
But Dick Emery?
Oh, Dick Emery, yes.
Yeah. 2 Ronnie's Christmas specials.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the seaside as well. They did.
Oh, yes.
Christmas, didn't they?
Yes.
They filmed that in Poole, didn't they?
Pool.
Poole.
But there's a few staple comedy ones that they get shown round and round, and every year I'll look
Yes.
forward to them. Is your 2 porridge Christmas specials?
Yeah.
Dad's Army.
Dad's Army, Steptoe and Son.
Are You Being Served was in there as well. I
There
think.
are
Yeah.
some Are You Being Served
Oh,
Some
Lord,
of
yes.
which you can't actually show anymore.
No.
Christmas
no.
specials. Yes, they're yes
And then you
of their
had-
time.
It was the days before you had to make your sitcoms depressing at Christmas, which was sort of the mantle was taken over by EastEnders and such.
Oh, I was going to say the best Christmas Walford's ever had. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very much in the vein of. I don't think there was much sort of drama stuff. I would necessarily look forward to.
But you
It was
wouldn't
all
have
very
watched
nice.
But it
was
wouldn't-
all about families by the telly.
I mean,
wasn't it?
there's a
Laughing.
line in Steptoe about Z cars with holly in their helmets
Yes,
or something.
yeah.
But I've never seen a Z cars Christmas
That's 'cause
episode.
they don't exist.
Isn't there a Softly task force at Christmas or something? There is one on that first disc, and I can't remember what it's about. We can look that up later.
You know, neither can I. But the problem with drama programs that had a Christmas, because there were the odd drama program that would have a Christmas theme throughout it. They would always, you knew there was going to be a happy ending, or there was going to be a unbelievable ending to a certain, a bit too twee, a bit too happy. Because you keep up the Christmas spirit.
Now you said twee, I'm just thinking of Terry and June, actually.
Oh Lord, no! Yes.
Oh God, there's a whole. Isn't there a whole Terry and June episode where the boss comes over and then they all fall asleep?
I can't remember. It blurs into one a bit.
Wasn't that the one where they were playing cards?
I think there might be more than one Terry and June special.
Yes.
Is there one about June's coat or something?
Oh yes, Malcolm buys Beatty a fur coat, and Terry hides it for him, and then June thinks she's getting a fur coat, and it all gets terribly complicated.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I wouldn't want a fur coat.
Yeah.
I'd be going, take it back.
Don't want it.
Don't want a fur coat.
Yeah. But we have to say Christmas BBC Globes.
Got to be the Christmas pudding for me.
Christmas pudding, what year is that?
77. I believe.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Beautiful.
You don't like the 1978 one, which is the revolving
Oh,
decapitated
the
Santa
severed
Claus head. Severed head of
the
Santa
two
Claus.
faces of Santa. Now on BBC One, the two faces of the severed head of Santa.
It's a Santa smiler.
Yeah.
His
His face rotates, and then there's another face behind
It's
it.
disturbing, isn't it?
That's probably where Moffat got the idea.
It's
actually.
possibly where Stephen Moffat got the idea. I don't know.
The other thought is, you say to your children, never talk to strangers, never go off with strangers, never give them sweets, never accept sweets or drinks from strangers. But there's this man you've never met before will come into your room on Christmas Eve
And bring your toys.
and
And
don't
leave-
cry out
And
for
leave
help.
you something special.
And leave them a mince pie and a carrot
And
for
give
the
you a small
Rangers.
package, yes.
Christmas adverts.
There's a Woolworths one that does the rounds. So this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Christmas at Woolworths. It's got like sort of Don Estelle and Windsor Davies in, and
And Tony
all that.
Blackburn. And
Talking of Christmas, no, I'll come on to that in a moment. No,
What,
I've just had a.
You've had a thought?
Do you
No,
remember
go on,
when
tell 'em.
you used to have BBC did this Merry Christmas from the Stars, and you'd have a gap between the programmes where you just before continuity, where they would usually show a trailer, but it'd be Merry Christmas from all the set of this, that, and the other.
there is one from Davison's first season, because like Davison sort of spreads his arms wide and obscures Matthew Waterhouse's face with his hat, which is, I don't know whether it's accidental or it was done on purpose.
Next season.
It's probably not accidental.
Oh, K9 and Company. That was Christmas Eve.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord, no, yeah.
You see, I like K9 and Company.
Oh, really?
I do.
K9.
Excuse me.
He's. Where are you going? You running up the road?
It's Liz Sladen running up the road.
Oh yes, bless. But no,
She doesn't run very far before she cracks that bottle of wine open.
Oh God!
I enjoyed K9 and Company. It was a special time because it was 1981. We laugh at that. You just had all the Five Faces season.
I
repeats.
can't get over a swanky sports car.
Was that the
Mini
Metro?
convertible.
It was, and you were
known as a skit.
You were just about to go into the new Doctor Who.
Yeah, and you
it was
thought
I expect it was exciting.
it was. I was excited.
I have to say, it was
Can't you tell?
No.
It was the blue box, wasn't it? The blue crate in the
Yeah.
sitting room.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that was very Doctor Who-y with the TARDIS blue. And then takes K9.
K9?
K8.
Have you been on the whiskey?
I have indeed. No. And then, K9, and you know that she doesn't know who K9 is.
Mm.
And that is fun. That is
Yeah,
fun.
I like that.
I'll give you that. But I hated the ending. It was a bit naff.
But yeah, jumping back to Christmas adverts.
So sorry, yeah.
Yeah, you'd get all this sort of stuff from MB Games as well. So you've got your Kaplunk. Buckaroo from MB Games. That's
You sunk my battleship.
Pertwee doing the voice for as some sort of hillbilly miner or something.
He was a cowboy, wasn't it?
Well, he was meant to be sort of like
was he a prospector?
because it was a mule, wasn't it? And it was you'd had to load it up with all the
That
pickaxe.
was so annoying, that game.
Why didn't you like?
You just get.
I had Buckaroo.
It's the last bit on
and then
there.
the whole bloody lot of games.
Oh, and a game I know that you have both got.
What?
Operation.
Yes, we have the new updated Dalek Operation.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Has it got neck breakers inside it?
No. No.
Oh yes, but what? Well,
No, carry on.
Oh, but yes, it's I do. And the Argos. The new Argos catalogue for Christmas.
Oh, and you couldn't get into the Argos store because there was 50 million Argos catalogues. Pick yours up from the door. You can't get in the store. You put all the books behind the doors.
But of course, as soon as Christmas is over, you know what the first set of adverts is,
Holidays.
don't you? Holidays.
Oh, yes.
Christmas
Your
Eve.
holiday.
Holiday adverts.
Yeah.
start.
Boxing Day. Well, the Boxing Day sales are advertised. There's only one sale. Yes, and all that business.
But yes, it's and you said Christmas means Christmas top of the pops
Christmas
to
for
you.
me
doesn't it?
was
Yeah.
Christmas Top of the Pop, Queen's Speech, Christmas Top of the Pops, and then whatever film was on. So E.T. or
Moonraker always on
Yeah.
ITV for about
Whatever.
a decade, wasn't it?
Yes,
But was that the only time you watched Top of the
that
Pops?
was the only time we watched Top of the Pops in our house. Christmas lunch, Top of the Pops.
Yeah, because there's a few late 70s one I think BBC 4 showed
Yeah.
last
I don't know
year.
if it goes
Last
quite
year.
that far back. It's more sort of
No, but
90s for me.
it was remarkable the range of styles of
And
songs they
it's
put
the
on.
Boney M guy jigging about in his fur coat. He must have been so hard at the studio lights.
Oh, what's that?
For Mary's Boy Child.
And what's the other one? Rasputin, isn't it?
Rasputin.
But then you'd get that, and you'd get like the St Winifred's School Choir,
Oh, Lord, yes.
and like Matchstick Men, and all that.
Yeah.
And it was just weird the amount of different things you could shove into an hour. But that was like the whole year, wasn't it? It was like
Yeah, it covered the whole year, didn't it? Yeah.
And probably the introduction, I don't know if you've seen the repeats, especially with, it was Neil Edmonds and...
Oh, yes.
And it was so bad. They were trying to create a Christmas atmosphere, and their puns were so bad, aren't they? And their humour's so bad. And
Well,
the links between
Edmund's humour normally is that bad, isn't it?
Yeah, but the other BBC Two used to show some really old films at Christmas
Yes.
as well. They used to show. They've started doing it about 3 or 4 years ago. It was the Rathbone.
What,
Sherlock
Basil
Holmes.
Rathbone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes. And there was a lot of sci-fi stuff they were showing, 50s B movies in sort of early 80s time on BBC Two. That was the thing I really looked at, rather than the main schedule.
Oh,
Because
now you've said that.
Yeah.
That's just jogged a memory of Michael Medved on
Medved?
Michael Medved, I believe,
Okay.
on Channel 4
Yes,
showing
so-
those awful films.
And they were Santa Claus Saves the
Santa
World,
Claus Conquers the Martians. I think
yes.
he showed on Christmas Eve or
That's right,
something.
and they were given a commentary, weren't they?
Yes,
yes,
yes.
I remember that.
Because
Yes,
there was a whole raft of
they-
really dreadful
awful
films,
yes.
but they were fun.
They were fun.
Yeah, there's I think that's probably they must have shown Plan 9 from Outer Space
Classic.
during that,
Classic.
but that's brilliant anyway.
That's so bad it's good.
Well, yes,
Yes.
but yeah, that's. Oh, and we've just been reminded. Blue Peter, Totalizer,
Advent Crown.
Oh yeah, thank you.
and the Advent Crown.
Nothing like a bit of plastic melting onto the child
Or,
underneath.
yes, or double-sided. Was it?
Coat hangers, 2 coat hangers with some tinsel stuck on it.
Flame retardant tinsel.
Oh, it has
And
to be.
always remind you that.
Yeah, and don't use
year.
wooden coat
And use
hangers.
sticky back plastic because we don't use double-sided sticky tape.
There's no such thing.
And your fairy liquid bottle with the word fairy with this bit of masking tape over it.
They still do that now.
Do they?
Yeah, anything that's branded has a bit of tape stuck over the top of it. So you get like. We're going completely off.
That's all right. It's,
A bit like things like
this is
MasterChef.
the Christmas party one, you know.
Things like MasterChef, anything that's branded has tape.
MasterChef.
MasterChef.
Welcome to
Who
Mar-
live in a house like
Master.
this? But yeah, Blue Peter was very good at creating gifts that you cringe at when you were given and go, oh, thank you very much, through gritted teeth, and think, oh, that's going to have been.
Earlier you said Merry Christmas VT.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, and
the biggest boobs are on the BBC.
they certainly are.
Yes.
But then there's, I mean, where are we? 77, 78, 79 BBC Christmas tapes for the engineers.
That's 78 onwards, yeah.
Yeah, there's Doug Who, I think, which is 79. There's
79.
White Powder Christmas. Is that
Powder.
78?
I think it's 78. Or,
Yeah.
Because they got into trouble in Doug Who because they lampooned the royal family, didn't they?
Oh, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
been a while since. But yeah, these are almost certainly knocking around on YouTube. But they were basically tapes done from the poor engineers who had to work on Christmas Day.
Yes.
So whenever anything would go wrong, somebody would just shout "Merry Christmas, VT,"
yes.
because you'd know that was. There are a number of ones for like Southern and TVS.
But they don't seem to have the quite the ethos as the BBC.
No, the BBC ones are well worth looking at.
And you've got the sketch between John Cleese and
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker from City of Death, haven't you?
Yeah, but there's some good stuff on there.
Yeah, it's good fun.
But there we go. Christmas in a nutshell.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd have it each year.
Yeah, would you? Christmas nuts.
Christmas nuts, yes. How's your crackers?
Yes.
From the fantastic to the magical and the box of delights, a startling story of good and evil. Patrick Troughton is the personification of good, and Robert Stevens has evil designs on his magic box.
Give me power. Power over all.
Trusted with the box's safekeeping, young Kay Harker enters a mysterious world of magic, and Radio Times explains how it's brought to life on the screen. When the wolves are running, who knows what might happen? The answers lie inside the box of delights and the new Radio Times.
And thank you again to Warren.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you. We have a couple of odds and ends from the All-Star Comedy Stroke Christmas Night with the Stars stuff. It was Moira Anderson.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The All-Star Comedy Carnival is available from Network.
Yes.
Yes. And the Dustbin Man sketch is from 1969.
Okay.
I think we said 1968, so we were close.
We're close.
Bill Cotton's career, head of Light Entertainment in 1970, then controller of BBC One in 1977, 1981, deputy managing director, and 1984 managing director of television.
Okay.
Because he was MD when the Doctor Who cancellation.
Yes, well, that's what I was thinking, because
Yeah.
I think he phoned.
He phoned up David Saunders. David Saunders
in the library.
In the library, and everybody went shh, according to JNT. Whether that's true or not. But anyway, Box of Delights.
Box of Delights.
That's what we're on now.
Yes.
We've been watching Box of Delights, one episode a week, roughly.
Roughly. We skipped a week because we realised we'd started a week too early.
Yeah. And we've just done episode 5 just
just now, and we're going to do episode 6
on Christmas Eve.
Because that's when it's set.
Yeah.
But I have fond memories of watching it the first time round. You don't so much, do you?
No, well, I'm going to hold my hands up. I don't think I saw it the first time round. I don't know if it was repeated or not. But I remember seeing an episode. Now, bearing in mind, I saw this when I was at my grand's, so it was on a black and white television, which doesn't really help. And I can't say I was impressed. I think I found it a little bit boring. That must have been
about, what, episode 4,
but I think it was about episode 4 or 3 or 4, because it was definitely an episode without Pat in, because I would have definitely have paid more attention to it if Pat was in it, because obviously I knew at that point he'd been in Doctor Who. And there's a lot of padding, a bit of padding in the middle episode.
But Pat, and it's watching it back, you think Pat's in it more than he is, because he's in episode 1, a tiny bit in episode 2, and he's in episode 6.
Yeah, and that's it.
The middle of it, there's no sign of him at all.
Yeah, the only thing really worth putting in the middle is Robert Stevens.
Yeah, Pat is playing, we should explain, Pat is playing Cole Hawlings, the Punch and Judy man, who has the magic box. Which he's got hold from, what was it, Arnold of Toady?
Oh, Arnold of Toady, yes.
And in reality, in the story at least, Cole Hawlings is really
Raymond
Lully.
Or Raymond Lully.
Or Raymond Lully, depending on how you pronounce it. Raymond Lully is mentioned in my Book of Alchemy.
Right, okay. So he's a real person?
Yes. Oh, yes. Right. Yes, there's a whole Wikipedia entry on Raymond Lully if you really want to look him up. Okay. Apparently he did some work on nitric acid, according to my book, but whether that's true or not, I don't know. But yeah, he has the magic box, which allows you to go small.
You can go small, you can go swift.
You can go swift, and you can go back in time. Although
you
can't take the box with you.
You can't take the box with you, and you can't always get back out of time. So it's probably not a good idea to go back in time unless you're really sure you can get back out.
But it's a 6-part serial from 1984.
Yes, it's got music by Roger Limb, so it feels like you're watching Doctor Who.
It's very radiophonic-y, music-y. Yeah. If that's an expression.
Radiophonic-y
music-y. Okay. Have you met him? He's lovely.
But
yeah, there's bits where Roger Limb, it does sound like the Caves of Androzani when they're doing chase sequences with drums and things like that. But yeah, it's beautifully, I was going to say filmed, but it's not filmed, it's all OB video, isn't it?
Yes.
They've got some wonderful, wonderful wide shots of snow, because they managed to choose a location where it was likely to snow when they were shooting it, and blimey, did it snow.
Yeah. Well, they ordered the snow machine and then it snowed. And then the snow machine couldn't get through.
Although there are other bits where they've had to use the foam machine, because they filmed it had to film it in summer or something.
Yeah, they had to do a few inserts. I think that's the night shoot, isn't it?
For
the attack on
Arthur's camp.
Where they throw the dog at the camera.
Oh yes, there's some wolves wolves
that's
supposedly.
A dog. They don't say the wolves.
And the wolves are attacking, which consists of some bloke chucking a dog
into
shot, and the dog looks surprised.
We would.
But there are a couple of
wolves,
real wolves.
Quentin and Queenie.
Yeah, they're like the acting wolves of the period.
Wolves, yes.
And I just love the idea they're called Quentin and Queenie.
Yeah.
But yes, we still have to do episode 6. I'd say the only disappointing thing about the Box of Lights is that final. No, I can do with that. It's just that final. Explanation as to what it's going on, and we won't spoil it.
And if you've read the book, you'll know what that is.
But I grit my teeth a little at the thing. But the rest of it is wonderful.
Yeah, it's really great.
Strange fantasy. And it's written by John Masefield. It is a sequel.
It is a sequel. The first one's called The Midnight People, and I have to say, I'm always inclined to agree with Sylvia Daisy Pouncer about Kay Harker, because he's a bit of a brat.
It was done on BBC Radio several times over. 1943, 1948.
Gosh, very quick then.
1955.
They obviously really like that.
Read that out.
Kay Harker, Patricia Hayes. Patricia Hayes?
Okay, that's news to me. And that one?
Mouse Charles Hawtrey. Oh God, that's got to be the campiest mouse ever.
1966 one-off drama.
There's 2K Harkers in that one.
Yes.
And
Cole Hawling's played by
Patricia. They can't be the same Patricia
No.
Hayes.
No.
A boy.
No.
Oh,
Cyril Shaps. Oh dear, yes. There's going through this. It's
he's the Archimander.
Well, Abner Brown is Heron Carvick in the 1977 version.
He's
he's the voice of the brain creatures.
Oh, in Keys of
Marinus.
Oh, yeah.
So he'd have a good voice to be evil. 1995 version. Donald Sinden and Lionel Jeffries.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, so some of these might be interesting to track down if some of these exist.
Donald Sinden being terribly fruity, I expect.
But apart from Patrick Troughton and the wonderful Robert Stevens, we should mention also Robert Stevens' turn.
Oh yes,
on Rivals of Sherlock Holmes.
That's another one you should track down. Well, you don't have to track it down actually. You can buy it from Network. It's really easy.
Everything.
He's in.
Is it the one?
He plays Max Carados, and I've completely forgot. Oh, The Missing Witness, is it called? Something like that?
No, that's the one with CJ in.
No, that's The Missing QCs.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
it's something about a witness, anyway.
Right.
But he plays a blind character, and it's really superbly done.
Yes. You've got Patricia Quinn.
Yes.
Well, Rivals of Sherlock Holmes is the missing witness sensation.
Well, I was close.
That's good. But Patricia Quinn,
yeah,
who we have met and has kissed your DVDs of
my I, Claudius
DVD.
Oh, with the cover, not the actual DVD.
Yes.
Yeah, because it had Charles Phillips on it.
James Grout as the inspector.
Really stupid police inspector.
Yes.
I'm glad policemen aren't really that stupid because no crime would ever get solved.
I do that like that bit where A explains what a posset is.
Yep.
You takes a heg.
Get a heg.
and
he's got a hobsession.
And he's got a hobsession. Yeah. And he's also a bloodhound of the law, isn't he? Oh, I'm surprised I could do that. Oh dear. Yes. Sorry about that. That surprised me. It's very innovative for special effects as well.
Bearing in mind it's 1994 and we're at the edge of what you can do, really.
But the Quantel stuff in episode 1 is wonderful.
Superb, where he goes into the
And I think that was even featured on Tomorrow's World, I vaguely think, where you've got the painting of a mountain pass on the wall, and Cole Hawlings needs to escape, so he just looks at the painting, and slowly the painting comes out of the wall,
and it gets bigger
and turns into live animation as a donkey walks down the path, and then the donkey turns into a real donkey, walks into the room, he gets on the donkey, and then it goes back into the painting and it turns back to animation.
And the dog goes with him.
And the dog.
He's got a dog.
It's the mix from live action to animation is really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got there's one odd thing in there where the rat. Now I don't understand the rat because it's who's playing the rat?
Bill
Wallace as the rat.
He plays Mr. Ploppy in Blackadder.
The rat is human-sized.
Yeah.
Whereas the mouse
is
mouse-sized.
Is mouse-sized. Perhaps Abner Brown made him big.
Yeah. But he's got a nephew as well, hasn't he?
Perhaps Abner Brown made him big as well.
Yeah. Very odd.
Perhaps he makes them big so he can talk to them.
Oh, maybe.
I don't think you should worry. In all the things that you should worry about, I don't think you should worry about
But you do have a slight problem when Patricia Quinn comes in, because Kay says she's a witch.
Yes.
And he presumably knows this because of the Midnight Folk.
Yes.
But at no point
is it
mentioned in the story. So you think, how does he know?
Yeah. Right.
So the first few times I saw that,
it was a little bit confusing.
It confused me as to how he knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some nice sort of animated stuff. Also with the demons, we haven't really seen because they're in part 6.
Yes.
And you've got this weird brazen head that's a rather good effect as well.
That's oh god, who's the brazen head? It's somebody quite recognisable. You're gonna have to look it up now.
All right, well, you talk about something.
Okay.
Then.
Oh god, what should I talk about?
Well, I don't know. You put me on the spot.
Okay. Actually, going back to the lack of Pat Troughton, you always equate it to Gandalf buggering off in The Hobbit.
Oh yeah, you get yes, because as a kid, we read The Hobbit at school, and you get about halfway through, and they get to the edge of
and Gandalf
is it Mirkwood or
Yeah.
wherever? Yeah. And Gandalf just goes, right, I'm going now, bye.
Yeah. And then they get into trouble.
Unsurprisingly. But, you do feel that, Trout. Now, who are we looking at? The Waterfall Boy?
No, the Brazen Head.
The Brazen Head. Well, that's a long way
That'll
down.
be in episode
Brazen
4.
Head, Nicholas Chagrin.
Nicholas Chagrin from
Vengeance on
Varos. Yes.
Oh, and you've also got, who's the guy playing? Oh, Philip Locke.
Oh, yeah,
as Arnold of Toady. Claiming that the English have tails.
Have tails, yeah.
Which he insists on that.
Yeah, he's really insistent about that.
I don't know where on earth he got this idea from, but it does make me laugh each time he says it. But yeah, so
you've also got John Horsley as the Bishop of Tatchester.
Who's John Horsley?
He's in a lot of comedy things.
Oh, right.
He's in Your Rang, My Lord and things like that. Yeah, he's Sir Ralph something in.
Oh, he's Doc Morrissey in.
And Doc Morrissey in
Reginald Perrin, of course.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I should have known that. Sorry. Oh, yes, you rang me that. There you go. Run Paul, all that sort of thing. But yeah, it's certainly a tradition that I think a lot of people of our generation watch Box of Delights
when you get to Christmas,
once a week.
Christmas,
I think even Simon Pegg does it, doesn't he? I used to see it on his Twitter, Time for Box of Delights, and quite a few people that we sort of follow or know.
Yeah, I watch it.
Sort of do it at once. So if you've never seen it,
it is a good idea.
I think it's one of those essential things.
You don't necessarily have to wait till next Christmas. Watch it between Christmas and New Year.
Oh, better get a shift on, depending on when this podcast comes out. Then.
So if this podcast comes out by Christmas, of course.
Yes. Okay. Right, what we're going to do now. Oh, yes, we've got a sort of Christmas present for you now, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
As we're delighted to announce an interview with none other than Terry Molloy.
Yes.
Famous as Davros and many other things.
And Mike Tucker.
In
the Archers.
It was recorded in, September?
September, yes.
At the Regenerations Convention in Swansea.
So maybe a little noise in the background.
Yes, the noise in the background is a bar full of Doctor Who fans.
Actually, it's a foyer full of Doctor Who fans.
Yes, well, we recorded it as far away as possible in the corner.
Yeah.
But I think both of us are projecting as much as we can.
He's an actor. He does project.
Yes. Yes. You're sitting over them distance, and I think Warren turns up halfway through, doesn't he? So, but yeah, over to Terry, and we'll come back, and then we've got one more thing to do.
We have.
And then we'll wish you a Merry Christmas.
We will.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Hello, and today we find ourselves in the middle of Swansea. Well, not in the middle of Swansea. We're in a hotel, and we're with the very lovely Terry Molloy.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Who we've already bribed with some tea and
you have indeed,
biscuits and things.
Yes, I mean, you got to me straight away with the tea.
Well,
I was there. Mind you, I arrived here at the hotel, and the first thing I had to do was actually call down to the reception and say, "Do you have anything like a kettle?" Because
we haven't looked for that yet.
Ghastly thing in the room, which, you know, with these pod things. I just don't. No, I'm sorry, I don't do those.
On Al Murray's Twitter, he does a thing called kettle versus sink whenever he goes to a new hotel.
Yes.
And some kettles will not fit in the sink.
Yeah.
So you can actually fill them up. So
well, you've got this.
We've played that game.
This stupid Tassimo thing or whatever it is with pod things that you put in it, and there's no instructions as how to fill it. Took me 20 minutes to find out where to fill it. And then it never worked, so I just thought, look, I just want some hot water so I can have a cup of tea. Because I bring my own tea bags, I bring my own stuff, got my own...
Well, you import tea, don't you, to America when you go?
Right, I do, yeah. I do.
Yorkshire tea being your
Yorkshire
favourite
tea,
thing.
yes, absolutely. I mean, if I could get Sergeant Majors over there, I would. But,
well, good luck with that. But today, just a couple of quick questions.
Yes.
Do you remember when you first got a telly in your house?
Ooh.
And when would that be?
Yeah, that's going to be... I remember one of the first tellies I saw, because actually, as a child, I was out in Kenya and Aden in the sort of 50s. And I remember coming back, we came back about 57, I think it was. And my uncle, who had a shop in Manchester, well, it sounds very grand, it was a corner shop, but they had a telly.
Ooh.
Yeah, a black, and it went wrong.
This was a magical thing.
This
then,
was
it?
a seriously magical thing. And I remember it went wrong, and they had to get the man in. And I remember my cousin Mari sitting in front of this, absolutely transfixed, because she was waiting for him to take the pictures out of the back. So that was her. But yeah, we had a telly. Yeah, not long after that, because I used to. Oh gosh, I remember. I mean, I was a great one for radio. I mean, like things like Journey into Space, I loved. But there was a moment when they had Robin Hood on with Richard Green.
Oh, yes.
And I always remember that with dread, because it usually signalled the time when I was going to be thrown back in the car after the weekend to be taken back to boarding school.
All right.
So that's it. Dum da 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 dum da da. Boom.
Have we ever actually seen a whole episode of that, Lisa?
Robin Hood.
Lisa's sitting over in the distance. I'll move over.
Green. The original one.
No, because Patrick Troughton did play Robin Hood, but I don't think...
Not in that, no. I mean, this was a... he was...
Because there was a whole raft of, like, the adventure serial type things like that.
Yeah.
There's a whole... Because Tony Hancock does a very good send-up of one, which is
I'm sure.
Ericsson the Viking, where Sid James has done this tatty production.
Yeah.
And... like they're like filming out in the park, and it's you see the buses going past, and
absolutely.
And that's a very good send up of those type of adventure serials.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, it was very much so. It was black and white, and I remember we had some set that had a thing at the top, and you clipped it, and it flipped up and exposed the controls. That turned it on, and then I can't remember what it was now, whether it was a rediffusion or something or other. But fairly small screens, But
But yeah, you were living in Bournemouth for a while.
That was later. I mean, we're talking. But in those days, it was like around Farnborough and Maidenhead and places like that. Yeah, Bournemouth I went to in 60. My father died in 63. Yeah, so it was 64 onwards. I was in Bournemouth till about.
That makes you
Yeah, it makes me very old.
Well, no, I was going to say it makes you another Southern boy, like Southern TV.
Nah, we had Southern TV. I remember.
Yeah, but were you a BBC or ITV family?
Oh, I swapped between the both.
Yeah, because some people I've asked.
No, we're only ITV. Yeah. I remember How. Which was
we've got
with
some clips
Fred
of that.
Dinage,
yes.
And
Jack Hargreaves.
Yes. Absolutely.
Somebody else has already mentioned.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be every week Jack Hargreaves would show you how to make a shit in a bottle.
Absolutely.
I have to be careful how I say that. Jack, we said make a shit.
Shit.
Oh, right.
Yes. Right. Okay. But he. Yes, down in Bournemouth. Yes, it was southern area.
But there's a number of sort of iconic serials that people always talk about when they talk about black and white TV, and that includes the Quatermass serials, Z-Cars,
it was
which we are huge fans of and have not seen enough episodes.
Brian Blessed was Fancy Smith. Yeah,
we've seen a few of the Brian Blessed ones, but again, as with so many series from this period, there's just so much missing that you can't. No. It's very hard to get an idea of what it was like watching it at the time.
Yeah.
Because it was one of these live productions, and
I mean,
there's stories about things going wrong.
There were these programs that they were only on that night because we had to have video recorders. So everybody watched the television because that's what they talked about the next day.
I didn't get a video recorder until 1987.
No, well, quite,
so
yeah.
I'm dreadfully behind.
You had things like Francis Durbridge Presents, thrillers, which they were so addictive. It's a bit like Game of Thrones now, but in terms of addiction. But I remember when the last episode of this came out, apparently half of Europe closed down because people wouldn't go into work that night because they wanted to see the last episode.
Well, there is a story about. There's an episode of Steptoe and Son that was going to be on the night of a general election, and basically the government wanted them not to show it because they thought everyone would stay at home and not vote. Yes, so it's amazing to think how much an influence TV was thought to have on people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stories about Quatermass emptying pubs and things like that. When Quatermass were on absolute desolation in all the pubs up and down the country.
And I also remember in my aunt's house in North Shields in Tyneside, regularly watching Tonight with Cliff Mitchellmore. And the next Tonight will be tomorrow night. And it was good. It was there was lots of different. You suddenly start to think.
I just find it fascinating to see what people, when you ask about TV memories, just what people come up with without any prompting. Supplementary question: who on TV would always make you laugh? Were you Morecambe and Wise?
Oh, Tommy Cooper.
Tommy Cooper.
And Morecambe and Wise, I mean, I knew Morecambe and Wise through my mother. My mother taught Ernie Wise's wife, Doreen, dancing during the war. She had a dance school, so Eric and Ernie, perfect. And Tommy Cooper, you just have to walk on stage.
My mum never quite got Tommy Cooper at first because she always used to say, "Well, he's doing it wrong." And I was like, no, that is honestly part of the act. Oh, here comes our driver, Warren. Warren, come over and say hello.
Hello, Warren. How are you? All right. Yay.
You have to journey down?
7 hours from Norwich, from Norfolk.
Lovely part of the world.
Lovely part of the world, yes. It was the last 2 hours trying to get from Bristol to Cardiff that was the killer for me.
Yes, as we were saying, we got stuck in Bath and...
dropping food parcels into us.
I mean, I did consider getting out and walking. I might have beat you, I don't know. But we'll get you a drink in a second.
Can I charge anyone's glass?
I'm just on the red wine, so don't worry about that. It's all right, we can carry on recording this. We can cut around it. But we'll see you in a minute, all right, man? Okay. Now, what else were we going to ask? What was your first actual TV role that you can remember doing? Because of course we know you for.
No,
but
the very first actual TV role I ever did was when I was working at Stoke-on-Trent at the Victoria Theatre, which is a rep theatre, and this BBC unit came through and they were doing a documentary and they wanted to borrow a couple of actors for a couple of days to be be a flint miller and a flint miller's assistant out at Cheddleton Flint Mill, because there was going to be narration over the top of this thing. So I did one day, and then they actually had me back for another day, and I got £50 for this, which in those days, I mean, we're talking about 1971. That was quite a good thing. The programme was a little programme called The Ascent of Man, with Jacob Bronowski running it.
I know the name.
Do you know, I've earned more from that one-day shoot in terms of royalties and repeats than probably anything else I've done.
We'd better track that down, I think.
It is available on video.
Yeah.
You probably won't recognise me. I'm a little flash across the camera, and I'm very different looking to what I am now. But I was in the Industrial Revolution part of the thing.
Yeah, because again, it's one of those sort of iconic documentary series.
It was like Charles Clarke's Civilization, and yes, it was of its time, and Bronowski was this incredible man who talked about, with like Attenborough does, with hushed reverence about, man's rise and, technology and science. And it was a superb programme. Yeah. But that was the very first time I actually appeared on screen. Didn't say anything, but...
No, but you're there.
I'm there, absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Terry, thank you very much. We'll just round that off, and that gives us a good 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Programmes for Christmas Day on BBC One. At 7:15, Bruce Forsyth and the Generation Game. At 8:20, the Mike Yarwood Christmas Show. At 8:55, the Morecambe and Wise Christmas Show with special guest...
What's his name? Elephant John. No, you mean Elton John? Him. It was on the last Christmas show. Oh, we know. Sang the musical song, all sentimental, and got laughs.
Build the craziest mousetrap that was ever made to catch a mouse. Kick the bucket down the chute, turn the handle, take a dive, and... Now rebound. And the pressure's building up. Great shot next door. Home team with one more go. Aim. Shoot. Through the two blues, and he's done it. Oh, now I'll have to ask him round again. Mousetrap and rebound. They're both ideal.
And thank you to Terry for
thank you, Mr. Molloy,
his interview. Yes, I think he enjoyed our present of tea. Well, I know he took it with him to...
He took some of it
to America for another convention. So that was very kind. We do have another interview from Regenerations to come up.
Yes.
But that'll be...
Next time.
Next time.
Probably.
I hope so. Oh, we did ought to mention
yes.
that the Christmas with the Stars 1958,
yes.
there's a credit at the end for continuity written by David Whittaker.
Yes, so all David Nixon's bits were written by David Whittaker.
No less, which that surprised me when that came up.
Yes.
But there we go. But finally, for this episode, we're going to talk about The Ghosts of Motley Hall, The Christmas Spirit.
Yes.
From... December 1976, actually broadcast on Christmas Eve, which is nice. Now, The Ghosts of Motley Hall is, I think, rather a forgotten series, which is a shame because it's very, very good.
It's very good. It's written by Richard Carpenter, who also wrote Catweasel.
And
Robin Sherwood.
And
was an actor.
That's true.
Yes.
But I don't remember watching it at the time.
That's probably because it was on ITV.
Well, I don't know. I remember Rent-A-Ghost.
Right. Well, I think everybody of a certain age remembers Rent-A-Ghost.
But comparing this to Rent-A-Ghost,
it's so much better.
It's as though somebody's put them on the wrong channels, isn't it?
This should be on the BBC and Rent-A-Ghost should be an ITV show.
Yes, it's very weird.
Yes.
But the setup of The Ghosts of Motley Hall, set in
Motley Hall.
Yeah.
You have Sir George Uproar, who is the last Uproar.
Better explain that.
Sir George Uproar is... Well, they're all ghosts.
They're all ghosts. Yeah. The only regular human character is Peter Sallis.
Peter Sallis, who's...
He's sort of
he's the caretaker.
He's the agent looking after the house, really, isn't he?
Yeah. They're trying to he's trying to sell it, but they keep putting people off because they don't want anybody to move into it.
So the family is the Uproar family.
The Uproar family, and Sir George was the last Uproar.
Yes.
I'm not sure how long he's been hanging around.
He died falling down the stairs after a long, inglorious career in the army.
He's not the last Uproar, is he?
Sir George is born in the 1840s, isn't he?
He's the... I don't know who is the last Uproar.
Oh, I'd have to look in the book and the episodes.
Basically, the family dies out without an heir.
Yes.
So without anybody to look after the hall.
So most of the ghosts are all related.
Yes. Apart from
Matt, the stable
boy, who wanders in the first episode, setting it all up.
He's the only one that can actually leave the house.
Yes.
All the other ghosts are stuck in the house.
Till towards the end of the series,
yes.
Yes.
But,
but you've got Sir George, as previously mentioned.
Freddie Jones.
Yeah, you've got Sir Francis, otherwise known as Fanny Uproar, who is he's 17th century? No, 18th century.
Yes.
18th century.
Died during a duel being drunk.
He's a bit of a...
bit dim.
And a bit of a rake and a wastrel.
A rake? That's a long, thin thing.
Not that kind of rake.
That's an Arthur English joke. He's a real rake.
Yes. You have the White Lady, who's played by
Sheila Stiefel, and nobody knows who she is.
And even she doesn't know who she is. There is an episode that deals with who that thinks she is, but then they find out she's not. So you never find out.
Bodkin, Arthur English.
Yes, he's a jester from Tudor times.
Yes.
He once was a fool for... Well, he wasn't a fool for Queen Elizabeth, but he did it when she visited or something.
Yes, he died as a result of a cold he contracted from being thrown in the duck pond with amusement of his employer.
Yeah, far too many times.
Given the cold I've had recently, I can sympathise with that. But with like Arthur English, Freddie Jones, Nicholas Le Prévost, who's Fanny, Sheila Stiefel and Peter Sallis.
You would have thought somebody would have heard of it.
Well, what I was going to say was you've got a cast of main actors, all of whom could really have held this series on their own. But to have so many good people
ensemble
in it. I mean, the series ran for 3 series.
Yes.
1976 to 1978.
And there is another Christmas special.
There is another Christmas special, Phantomime, which is that the one with...
That's Alfred Marks.
Alfred Marks is some sort of genie.
Yeah.
But the one we want to talk about is the Christmas Spirit, which is really, really, really well written and makes me a bit teary because it's so well done.
Yes.
I mean, the plot basically is that the ghosts are going to celebrate Christmas, and the White Lady says, "Well, what's the point? We're all dead.
Yeah, we don't get any presents. Can't eat anything.
The most you're going to get in the hanging up the stockings is soot.
Yes.
I think Fanny says he got a moth in his once or something."
Yeah.
And then as they're sort of being all mopey about this, it's held in a sort of wide shot of them all standing there. And slowly, and it's really, really well done, the background starts to mix to the house as it was in what,
1850s?
Was it 1840s, 1850s?
Well,
I can't remember.
It would depend. Well,
I think they do say in the episode.
Yeah, I don't want to mention what it depends on because it sort of spoils the plot point.
Yes.
But it depends on when a certain character was born.
Yes. I will talk. We should talk about that scene. So,
But it's I would say it's either late 1840s or early 1850s.
But basically, the house takes them back
to celebrate
sort of
a Christmas
mid-early Victorian times.
Well, early.
Yes, because they do have it's quite nice the way they cover it. That there is a big Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And they do cover the fact that Christmas trees weren't very common in the UK.
No.
At that point.
Though the earliest Christmas tree was put up by Queen Charlotte.
Oh.
Not Queen Victoria.
Oh, when was that then?
That would be... I don't know. I didn't actually... I read it in a history magazine and I haven't actually looked to see when it was.
Who was Queen Charlotte?
Queen Charlotte was married to King George III.
Oh. So that's...
So it's a bit earlier than we think.
That's a bit earlier.
But it was more of a branch than a big tree. The actual proper trees come in from Victoria and Albert.
Oh, there you go. There's a bit of history for you. You like your history, don't you?
I do like my history, yes.
But, because it's Christmas trees are thought of more as a German thing,
well,
isn't
Queen
it?
Charlotte was German.
Ah, well, there you go then.
So that would explain it.
Ah, yes. The first known Christmas tree is at the Queen's Lodge in December 1800.
Yeah,
so there you go. Oh, you were right. Well done.
I didn't exactly know when it was, but I do remember reading that it was Queen Charlotte.
Oh, yes. But... Yes, then...
So you get a bit of history in this as well.
You get education, you then sort of see... basically, you see...
You get lots of servants.
You see Peter Sallis playing... Gudgeon's great
whatever.
Grandfather. Freddie Jones plays his own father.
Yeah. With a bit of sort of darkening down of whiskers and hair.
Yes. And... Then the family the living family are all happy, and they just suddenly start to argue.
Everything starts to change, yes.
And
then all the ghosts start to argue.
Yeah, and then eventually they realise that the Yule log that they've brought in,
which is from the blasted. Is it the blasted
oak?
Tree?
Was it
oak or something?
Where was it? Somebody died, or by the tree or in the tree,
fell
or
out
something.
of the tree or something. Yeah.
And so that basically this is the Christmas spirit referred to in the episode title,
and he's making mischief.
It's sort of like a poltergeist, isn't it?
Yes.
What do they call it? Trying to remember
I forget what they call it now.
Yeah, but an elemental. That's
an
it.
elemental. Yes.
A bit sort of sapphire and steely.
Yes.
I mean, it affects people,
we're less
and it grows stronger the more.
The more discord there is, the stronger it gets.
Yes. So that's quite a nice sort of dramatic. Thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as I said, compared to Rent-A-Ghost, Rent-A-Ghost does really go down the slapstick route.
Yes.
But,
I mean, it is fun, Rent-A-Ghost. We're not knocking Rent-A-Ghost. Rent-A-Ghost is fun. It has its moments.
But Motley Hall is all on character and atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said to you that Motley Hall is a place I would love to spend a weekend. Because although it's haunted,
they're quite friendly.
They're
ghosts.
very friendly ghosts.
Yeah, they're only really. They don't scare away people. I think I said they scare people away. I don't think they do.
Just
I think
those
they
that want to buy the house.
For the wrong reason.
It's a bit like I always said that I wouldn't mind spending some time at the Addams family house as well. Because although you get this thing that people come in and are scared,
but they're friendly. They want to be friendly.
Yes.
The same way the monsters want to be friendly.
Yes.
But people can't see past the way they look.
But you do have the thing that Peter Sallis can see the White Lady.
Yes.
But that's it.
Really.
He can't see any of the other ghosts. So different people can see different ghosts, which during the series can lead to sort of some clever sort of setups where people are talking straight through them and things like that.
Yeah, because there is an episode, going slightly off track here, with Gerald James as a ghost hunter, and it's almost the same part he plays in Sapphire and Steel.
That's very similar to his Sapphire and Steel.
Apart from the ending.
Adventure 2 story.
It's a bit of a happier ending.
And this is before his Sapphire and Steel, so I do wonder whether
PJ saw it and
whether there was an influence there. But yeah, the whole series is, of course, available
on DVD.
And I think really it's probably one of the most highly recommended things we've covered over the whole series of podcasts.
But there was a scene you wanted to mention.
Oh yes, I think what sums it up is the beautifully written scene where
and there was no need for the scene.
No, the scene has nothing to
the
do
story
with the thing. It's just entirely character.
Yeah, it's all their character.
And Sir George is sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
And a little boy comes down the stairs and says, "Who are you?" And they start to talk to each other, and Sir George realises that the little boy is himself.
Yes.
And he remembers coming down the stairs
and seeing
this old man who wasn't there
in the
morning.
And he was a soldier, and it made him want to be a soldier.
Yeah, he said, because he's going to get a fort for Christmas. He tells him that. And he says, "I'm going to be a soldier when I grow up." "What rank are you?" "General." "I'm going to be a general when I grow up."
Yes. So he makes his own history.
Yes, you are. So it's a wonderful little time loop of character.
Yeah.
And you just don't need to have that scene, but the fact it's there shows you what a good writer Richard Carpenter is.
Although I did say it was a shame that I'm not sure how old Toby Jones was at that point, but it's a shame they couldn't have got his son in to play himself.
Toby Jones?
Yeah. Brendan Jones' son.
Oh, Toby Jones.
Toby Jones.
That Toby Jones.
That Toby Jones,
yes.
yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Oh, right. But yes, if you're going to buy something...
Yeah, buy that.
Buy that.
It's very good. It's got great guest stars.
Yes, you get loads of good people coming in each week
and
as well.
You even get sort of Michael Elphick in the last episode.
Yes.
As a character.
Yeah. I think it's one of those... I mean, I've got the book. Richard Carpenter did a book like he did a book for everything, but it's one of those series I wouldn't mind having a go at writing an episode of just for my own amusement, just to get in the heads of those characters because they are so wonderfully
and I think it was a brave,
written and played.
Yeah, and it was a brave move that they, although it's frustrating not to know who the White Lady is, it was a brave move never to name her.
You need that mystery. I think that just makes it more interesting.
Because then you can make your own idea.
There's so much sort of texture in all of this that's really, really good. But they are. So that's our
Ghost of Motley Hall
Christmas special recommendation. And we'll just wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
Yes. And a peaceful New Year.
And we'll do the sign off in a few seconds.
Okay.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
Family entertainment for the Christmas holiday on BBC One. There's humour from Les Dawson's point of view.
Television Centre is one of the great bastions of entertainment. And believe me, within these walls, there are some right bastions.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. Christmas chaos supplied by Emu's Broadcasting Company.
He's got hold of me trumpet. Oh, look, he's put me.
It's a Christmas knockout from Cortina d'Ampezzo in Italy, adds a seasonal touch to the fun and games. And there's Larry's Christmas Generation Game.
I'm going to be with you on Christmas Day, and we'll have a lot of fun in store for you, so have a happy Christmas. And
give us a kiss.
Ooh, what a nice girl.
Are you being served? And the staff of Grace Brothers lay on a Punch and Judy show.
Give us a kiss. Get off! What are you doing now? Let me get this right.
Highlights of the Christmas season on BBC One.
Well, that almost wraps it up for this episode, but I think we've just got time to announce our New Year's resolutions, which are, somewhat predictably, 405 lines and 625 lines, interlaced, of course.
Cheerio! See you in 2017.
That was episode 4 of Round the Archives, starring Lisa Parker and Andrew Trowbridge with Warren Cummings and special guest Terry Molloy.
On the musical side, you heard Dan Tate and Paul Chandler.
The script for The Ghosts of Motley Hall, The Christmas Spirit, was by Richard Carpenter.
And the producer was Quentin Lawrence.
Hello and welcome back! With Christmas rapidly approaching, we thought we'd take a look at what's on in fandom over the festive period. Well, there's pro-celebrity vid-firing at Piddletrentide, formation manual deblobbing in Wookie Hole, not to mention a display of reverse standards conversion just outside Wimborne Minster. And our old friends, the over-80s nudist Blake 7 restoration team, will be showing you... What are you laughing at, Warren? Oh, here we go.
Oh, bleed now. Merry Christmas, VT.